Steven Universe and Steven Universe Future showed us crystals that came in all shapes and sizes, and also various power levels. Now that we've spotlighted every single one of these space rocks in their own videos, we thought it was high time we stacked them against each other to see who is the most powerful gem of them all. Hit that subscribe button and bell, and get ready to rank these Rebecca Sugar characters. What's up, guys? I'm Chris Carr. Here's every gem in Steven Universe ranked. Before we dive in, I want to give a shout out to our super nerd sponsor of the day, Lauren Linton. Thanks to gems like Lauren, I get to still somehow talk to you guys about Steven Universe. So thank you so much. We really appreciate all the support. And hey, if you want to pitch in, head on over to our Patreon page and see if a donation tier works for you. We'll thank you with some sweet perks. Alright, I know ranking seems pretty Era 3 cast system of me, but what can I say? Producer Brett loves making me compile lists of my opinions. And that's what this list will be, you guys, my opinion. Sure, I'll be briefly backing up my rankings on why I view this particular gem as powerful, be it their brain or how they think or don't think in battle. So just think of this list as a jumping point for a larger discussion we can all have. This is all in good fun. Okay, on to the ranking. Number 65, Jades. Pulling up the rear, I'm placing all of the Jades we meet in the Homeworld Court. While these gems can cut a rug and waltz, we don't really see them do anything else. I'd love to see how these gems serve the Homeworld Authority and what other powers they possessed. This is a gem grouping I'd love to know your theories on. Number 64, Heaven and Earth Beetles. Okay, these little cuties I sadly have to place so high because we don't see them use their powers. Even in their corrupted states, they aren't particularly threatening. They're just aggressive little bugs. Number 63, Tiger's Eye, Beryl, and Serpentine. We know these gems fought alongside the crystal gems, but we never see them in action. Heck, we never really see them. Therefore, we can't really determine their power level. I would just place them above the Heaven and Earth Beetles since we know these three were warriors. Maybe these three characters could get their own comic book adventure? I think it'd be pretty cool to get some crystal gem free corrupting light stories. Number 62, the Rose Quartz Trio. Again, we have a set of gems that we don't see in combat. While we can assume Rose Quartz may have mimicked their abilities to an extent to help conceal her identity, we can't really know what they're capable of. We know that as a type of quartz, they're strong and sturdy, and definitely have combat abilities. We just can't know their true skill set until we see them in action. Number 61, Cherry Quartz. Similar to the Rose Quartz Trio, we don't see Cherry Quartz in a combat scenario. We do know that she was a corrupted gem, and again, as a type of quartz, she probably could be a real bruiser, but without seeing her in battle, we can't make those assumptions. I definitely bet that Cherry could kick some major butt though. Number 60, Aubergine Pearl. Ranking the various pearls proved pretty difficult for me. I mean, they have very similar skill sets, and for the most part serve Diamond Masters. And they all have extra grace, agility, and their awesome storage and projection powers. Aubergine I put on the lower end simply because the only thing we ever see her do is lead a tour of the new and improved Diamond Authority. I know knowledge is power, and her presence immediately indicated a new and improved homeworld, but this purple-hued Pearl's walking tour leaves room for a lot of speculation as to how she'd do in a fight. And a quick side quest, who did this Pearl serve before? Gosh, I wanna know! Number 59, Volleyball. The pearls we see serve Homeworld, as I said, all have very similar match skills. Volleyball seems to have the most healing to do, emotionally, mentally, and physically, than her other counterparts, hence her ranking here. Number 58, Blue Pearl. The artist of the pearls, Blue Pearl isn't made for combat. However, Pearl of the Crystal Gems proved that any gem, even a pearl, could become a tremendous fighter with the right training. Number 57, Yellow Pearl. Of the pearls, I assume the sometimes snide and pompous Yellow Pearl would have made the best warrior of the bunch. I mean, she really feels herself in that wedding armor. So maybe this is another pearl who wants to set out on a warrior's journey now that she's done being a lady-in-waiting, essentially. Number 56, Podparasha. I mean, for me, Podparasha's greatest power has been over me and my ability to pronounce this gem's name. Too many syllables for this Texan. Sorry, guys. Her future predictions have a delay, but this gem has a lot of heart. I'm so glad she finds a place for herself among Lars and the off-colors, but that glitch with her future vision is why I'm ranking her here. Number 55, the Rutile Twins. Again, we have a gem, or set of gems, that we don't see utilize any unique or special skills. So that's why they're here. Number 54, Holly Blue Agate. I want to use Holly Blue as a sort of gateway gem to talk about types of power. While this is, again, a gem we don't really see fight, we do see her wield power over other gems. This schoolmarm of a rock knows how to put others in their place. This is a gem that loves law and order, and I'm sure made all the Famethyst form a queue for any and all activities. Plus, anyone who cracks a whip is broadcasting some dom capabilities. Number 53. Lemon Jade. Much like how we only see the Jades dance and hang out in the Diamond Authority's court, we barely see this fusion take form before being poofed. We know they'd be stronger than the average Jade, but we have no idea what they bring to the table. We do know it took a lot of guts fusing in front of the diamonds, though, so points for bravery, Lemon Jade. Number 52. Stag. 25% gem, 75% human, Stag is a fusion of Steven and his father Greg Universe. Now, Stag has some cool abilities, like the ability to regulate descent and float through the air, and gosh, does he have some great hair and a smooth voice. But aside from boosting morale, this fusion seems more rock star than crystal gem fighter. If great hair gave you physical power points, Stag would be at the top of our list. But alas, the Greg of Stag leads me to believe that this fusion wouldn't be as durable or helpful in battle as the other gems on our list would be. Number 51. Ruby, as in Garnet's component Ruby. For the purposes of our list, I'm utilizing 3 different sets of Ruby. The Ruby who's part of Garnet, the majority of the Ruby squad, and then specifically Eyeball. Now, our girl Ruby is obviously a strong foot soldier who can allow her hot-headedness to get the best of her. Ruby's gauntlets help enhance her fighting capabilities, but as we see with the Rubies as a whole, they're a gem that shines when they combine their forces. Number 50. The Ruby Squad. The brute force of the Ruby Squad does make them a challenge for our crystal gems, but these soldiers aren't the sharpest tools in the shed. They're temporarily thrown off their mission by a game of baseball. When these rubies fuse together, though, they form one big, tough fighter. That definitely explains why they'd be sent to find troublesome gems in the first place. Number 49. Eyeball. Eyeball, I would argue, is the most powerful ruby of the Ruby Squad. She has more agency than the other rubies. Like Garnet's component ruby, she has her own set of goals. However, her loathing of Steven has made her far more cutthroat, and I think she looks for ways to boost her power and give her advantages in fights, like wielding her knife or joining forces with a gem with similar motives. Number 48. Sapphire. If you've watched my gem spotlight videos, you'll recall that sapphires and rubies, in gemological terms, are essentially the same, which is why their drastically different places in the caste system was so interesting to me. I would argue that knowledge of the future, as sapphires have in the show, would be a much more useful power than enhanced hand-to-hand combat skills. Knowing how to throw a punch is great, knowing when to avoid being hit altogether is a lot better. Not to mention, Sapphire seems to be able to regulate temperatures and make things incredibly frosty. Freezing someone out, literally or metaphorically, could be very useful. Number 47. Snowflake Obsidian. One of Bismuth's best buds, we don't know much about Snowflake Obsidian aside from the fact that she used to build trenches back on Homeworld, which doesn't sound like a particularly unique ability. She definitely looks like someone who could be used in a fight though, and any friend of Bismuth has probably had to have her 6 in battle. These days it just looks like snow cone sails are more her speed. Number 46. Bixbite. Bixbite's corrupted form is one of the less threatening ones we see, but I do think in her natural state, this Edward Scissorhands of a gem could do some real damage in battle. She slices, she dices, and she can't give you a balloon to save her life. Number 45. Peridot. While I love this little space pie tremendously, and she has some incredible mechanical know-how, Peridot does pale in comparison to other gems when it comes to physical powers, especially without her limb enhancers. In fact, Peridot believed she didn't have any unique abilities until the episode Too Short to Ride, when she realized that she had telekinetic powers over metallic objects. Let's be real though, this gem's real power is in her snark, sass, and reimagining of Camp Pining Hearts. Number 44. Aquamarine. Aquamarine is another gem that I feel utilizes political power over physical. While she does have some fantastic abilities that would help her in battle, water wings, a wand, a teardrop tattoo that shows her enemies she will straight up murder you, she wields her place in the caste system and her ability to turn a phrase over her physical strength. She's cold, she's calculating, and she's not above blackmailing even her own allies. Number 43. The Famethyst. Like the crystal gem amethyst, the members of the Famethyst were born on Earth, emerging from either one of the kindergartens Homeworld plopped on the planet. They were originally created for Pink Diamond, but in light of her shattering, quote-unquote, they were moved to Pink Diamond Zoo to protect the facility and do its daily upkeep. These gems, like Amethyst, are carefree and fun, but they have a lot of muscle. Think big golden retriever energy here, people. It's wild to me that this group didn't overthrow Holly Blue right away. But hey, that just goes to show you that even the strong can allow others to keep them in a place of oppression if they don't believe in their own strength. Number 42. The formerly corrupted quartzes. We're talking zebra jasper, lace amethyst, blue lace agate, and angel aura quartz. When it comes to these jaspers, agates, and other assorted quartzes we meet in Steven Universe Future, I think we can, for the most part, talk about them interchangeably, much like the members of the Famethyst. These are some tough gems that play rough. I mean, look at the injuries they sustained from a friendly game of volleyball. They're tough cookies! Should the gems of Little Homeworld need to stand up and fight, you know this pack would be ready for battle. And hey guys, if you think some of these are standouts who do have more battle prowess, call me out in the comments and let me know why. Number 41. Crazy Lace Agate. While we don't see this agate in battle, we do know that she's a fusion. Therefore, this Raggedy Ann gem could be even more durable and strong than the other agates and quartzes listed. Number 40. Watermelon Tourmaline. Again, here we have a fusion that we don't really know anything about, aside from the multiple gems cluing us in that two gems have become one, giving this fusion a power boost. I'm absolutely dying to know who is fused into this gem! I'm ranking them lower than other fusions, not only because we aren't sure of their extra powers, but because even in their corrupted state, that pufferfish form wasn't particularly difficult for the crystal gems to take on. Number 39. Topaz. We meet a fusion of two topazes that work under Aquamarine in Steven Universe. This is another gem that impressively displays her strength, but allows a less physically inclined gem to control them. A unique ability that topazes possess is that they can fuse and defuse around enemies to imprison them within their bodies. We also see these topaz use a sort of mace weapon with extreme dexterity. Outside of the oppression of the caste system, topazes could really make a name for themselves in the beach city wrestling scene, I think. Number 38. The Zircons. Do we see a lot of physical power in action when it comes to the Zircons? No. But never underestimate the power of a well-articulated debate. These two duke it out for the fates of those tried before the diamonds, and then they go on to run for office against one another. Power isn't always punches. Sometimes it's rhetoric and high standing in politics. Number 37. Rhodonite. While Rhodonite is a fusion, her identity seems to cause her more anxiety than confidence. While she comes into her own under Lars's command, Rhodonite still doesn't show us any particularly interesting powers compared to the other gems. That being said, as a fusion, I would argue that she's capable of really packing a punch and obviously can stand up to taking those punches too. Number 36. Fluorite. Okay, I'm making a similar argument for fluorite that's going to kind of throw a wrench in my more gems, more powerful argument that I'll make for so many other fusions. So, I'm sorry, this is kind of a contradiction, but hear me out. We know fluorite is composed of many gems, and open to taking on more if they're the right fit for the group's dynamic. But we have so many gems in the mix that it takes a long time for this fusion to speak, make decisions, etc. While this is an excellent interpretation of group dynamics and consent, it doesn't make for the most powerful, most decisive, most effective fighter. Number 35. Stevani. With Steven's gem capabilities and Connie's way with a sword, Stevani is a great warrior with some extraordinary hand-to-hand capabilities. I'd only rank them up this high because Connie doesn't have any other worldly powers to bring to the table like other gems or fusions. That being said, I would want Stevani on my side of a battle any day. Number 34. Nephrite. This Homeworld gem's corrupted form was one of the very first monsters Steven had to contend with, and she put up quite the fight before he won her over. Nephrite in her true form was a loyal soldier, excellent fighter, and Nephrites in general were used as pilots thanks to their natural aptitude for it. If Nephrite hadn't been affected by the corrupting light and instead had teamed up with the crystal gems, I think she really could have come into her own as a fighter, especially with someone like Garnet showing her the ropes. Number 33. Amethyst. Our garbage-eating queen can hold her own in a gem battle or in the wrestling arena, despite her smaller stature. With her shape-shifting abilities, whip, and desire to protect the only home she's ever known, Amethyst is a fighter through and through. Number 32. Pearl. I place Pearl a little above Amethyst just because she has more discipline as a fighter, and she doesn't rush into battle as quickly. Despite how the caste system treats Pearls, our Pearl shows us that anyone can become an incredibly gifted fighter. Whether she's wielding a spear or a sword, Pearl makes moves that are bold, precise, and agile. Number 31. Bismuth. One of the original crystal gems, Bismuth is a tremendously powerful fighter. She uses her shape-shifting abilities to turn her hands into weapons and tools, has skin that's impervious to high temperatures and allows her to take a relaxing dip in lava, and has some sort of cooling breath that she utilizes while smelting new weapons. I'd love to see if that works like some sort of Superman ice breath in a fight. Bismuth is by far one of the strongest singular gems we meet in the entire series. Number 30. Zebra Jasper. Corrupted ocean jasper and jasper fused together. Fusing with a corrupted gem really did a number on Jasper. This fusion was aggressive and animalistic, and lashed out at her attackers with her claws. Due to the forced nature of this fusion, it was unable to remain intact. And frankly, fusing with a corrupted gem just made Jasper less focused. I'd argue, and will argue, that Jasper was better off fighting on her lonesome, and that the corrupted ocean jasper just weighed her down. Number 29. Larimar. Little Larimar's sharp claws are perfect for fights, ice sculpting, and snow cone scooping. In her corrupted form as the ice monster, she gave the crystal gems a real fight. I'd argue that this corrupted form was a lot stronger because it was so unhinged and willing to go for the jugular. Or maybe in either state, Larimar just really loves screams. Number 28. Ocean Jasper and Biggs Jasper. While I'd typically lump Biggs and Ocean in with the other Jaspers and quartzes we've talked about, Biggs and Ocean Jasper's corrupted forms were super duper strong. They required all hands on deck to be taken down. They were some truly terrifying monsters. And speaking of terrifying monsters, number 27, Orange Spudamine. My own personal fears may be showing, but Orange Spudamine's corrupted state is by far the one that gave me the biggest set of heebie-jeebies and seemed to be the most threatening. That worm monster coming for Connie and Steven underwater was terrifying, and I personally feel it was one of the biggest corrupted threats that the Crystal Gems faced in the Steven Universe series. Number 26, Emerald. Emerald was a difficult gem for me to place. While we know she's a high-ranking gem thanks to the Diamond Authority's caste system, which typically relates to physical strength, we never see this gem do much of anything except argue with Lars and spawn a ton of fan fiction shipping the two. I'm making the assumption that this is an incredibly powerful gem and that she's incredibly durable. She appears to be quite the tactician as well, and has a reputation throughout the galaxy as being a force to be reckoned with. Rebecca Sugar, hi. Can you please give me more Emerald so I can know more about what this space captain is capable of? I just need it for research purposes. Number 25, Jasper. Why place Jasper above her corrupted fused form? Well, like I said, I feel like Jasper herself was more difficult to take on when we look at all of her battles against the crystal gems. Jasper was a warrior, through and through. She single-mindedly went into battle with the notion that she was going to dominate. She constantly was a struggle for the crystal gems. It's even stated in Steven Universe Art and Origins that Jasper has a fantastic reputation and is regarded as one of the best quartzes produced on Earth. She's the most decorated gem, and she came from humble origins. She is the warrior gem that everyone raves about. Number 24, Garnet. Jasper may be the pride of Homeworld, but we definitely know that Garnet's stronger than Jasper. I mean, there's a whole song about it. Garnet, our poster girl for fusion, isn't just physically strong. She's also mentally and emotionally strong. Sure, she literally falls apart when Rose's true identity throws Ruby and Sapphire for a loop, but we all need a hard reset sometimes. Garnet, thanks to Sapphire, has future vision and can pack a punch due to her gauntlets that one-up her melee capabilities. She's physically more durable than the other crystal gems thanks to being a fusion. Courageous and filled to the brim with leadership skills. You don't want to mess with the boss. Number 23, Sunstone. You'd think that a fusion between Steven, a diamond, and Garnet, a fusion herself, would be really heckin' powerful. But we really only see Sunstone utilize the power of suction cups and a well-placed PSA. We know that this fusion would be able to take on a real heavy hitter thanks to that enhanced durability. But because it has this kind of outside-the-box, non-lethal weapon as a tool, we really don't get much sense of what Sunstone could bring to the table. You know, aside from keeping kids off of drugs and on skateboards. Number 22, Bluebird Azurite. This maniacal little fusion made up of Eyeball and Aquamarine has the power of flight thanks to her water wings and an ice cutlass that she'll use to threaten just about anyone, if it means getting back at Steven Universe. This weapon seems to be a blend of Aquamarine's wand and Eyeball's chisel knife. While her weapon is a pretty seamless blend of the two component gems, BA seems to favor Aquamarine's water-fueled abilities, such as Hydro and Cryokinesis, looting shards of ice at her opponents. If this gem weren't so single-mindedly focused on destroying Steven, I bet she could really prove herself as a force in the universe. But alas, she's more focused on Earth allergens and revenge than finding a more harmonious reason for her pieces to fuse, making it difficult for her to remain stable. Number 21, Rainbow Quartz, the OG version. Rainbow Quartz is by far one of my favorite designs within the entire series. This original rendition of Rainbow Quartz is ranked this high because we don't see any of her powers utilized. She's essentially a hot chick in a Whitesnake video. We never see this fusion fight or what weapons she can summon. But due to the very nature of fusions and who specifically comprises this fusion, we know she'd be a powerful entity. I'm sure with Pearl's agility and fighting prowess paired with Rose's strength, this fusion would have been wicked to see in battle. Plus, it'd probably be dance fighting. Oh, that'd be so fun. Number 20, Rainbow Quartz 2.0. The Mary Poppins of fusions, Rainbow Quartz 2.0 is made up of Steven and Pearl, and really showcases the nurturing nature these two possess. Armed with an umbrella, we really only see RG2 deal with Onion, which is a harrowing assignment in itself, but nothing like going head-to-head with, say, Jasper or the Diamond Authority in an actual battle. I do place them over the original iteration of this fusion, simply because we see more of what they're capable of. They can use that parasol to float, to fly, and repulse objects, like how they push Onion up the banister. Plus, they can manifest a rainbow. Useful in battle? Probably not, but darn it if it isn't cool and cute. Again, due to the nature of fusions, we simply know that this entity is an extra strong, extra durable gem. Number 19, Malachite. There's no denying that Malachite has a tremendous amount of sheer power. After all, she's made up of arguably two of the most physically strong characters in the series, Jasper and Lapis. And she seems to favor Lapis's water abilities. However, due to the toxic nature of this fusion, Malachite has a hard time fighting others since she's so busy fighting herself. I'd be interested to see in a post-Steven Universe future world if Jasper, who's now gone to little homeschool, and Lapis, who has a better handle on her rage, could form a healthy fusion. And I'd like to see what that fusion would be capable of. But given their history, it's probably for the best, and much healthier to not cross that bridge. Number 18, Mega Pearl. Double the pearl, double the power. This fusion has all the agility of Pearl with some extra oomph. While ribbon dancing was a fun addition to this fusion and hit all those awesome magical girl transformation notes for me, I'm not sure how handy rhythmic gymnastics would be in a battle. She could utilize that weapon as a javelin and did cause some real damage. So maybe Mega Pearl's a fusion you need for a very specific job. Number 17, Smoky Quartz. Oh, I was so happy Smoky Quartz came into their own! Smoky spent so much time worrying that they weren't particularly strong as a fusion. And then bam! Super speed powers manifested right when they were needed. This ability comes from Steven's pink state. Smoky can also do some mean yo-yoing, and uses this weapon to knock out enemies, uses it as a grappling hook, and she can use it to tie up and squeeze assailants. Those brief moments where Amethyst's self-doubt manifests are really all that holds this fun-loving fusion back. Number 16, Opal. This giant woman is a combination of Pearl and Amethyst, and fittingly, her weapon is a combination of theirs as well. Take a whip and a spear and you've got a bow and arrow. Opal fires light-based energy at her attackers with deadly accuracy, and can shoot multiples of these arrows all at once. Number 15, Sugilite. Know Your Fusion specifically states that Sugilite is stronger than Opal, and that totally makes sense. She's a juggernaut! This fusion starts out as unstable, but eventually gets the hang of being fused in a healthy way. A combination of Amethyst and Garnet, Sugilite uses her strength to overpower and overwhelm her enemies. She fights with a flail that's comprised of Amethyst's whip and Garnet's gauntlets. If she's not in the mood for flailing, her fists can wind up and deliver super pack punches. She's not the fastest fighter, but she sure is one of the strongest. Number 14, Sardonyx. This chatty fusion made up of Pearl and Garnet uses a giant mallet to deliver her blows in battle. She can even turn this warhammer into a drill. Sardonyx, as she says herself, is specific, intelligent, accurate, faultless, elegant, controlled, surgical, graceful, and powerful. And yes, occasionally, she's known to smash. Number 13, Demantoid. Demantoid is one of the Garnets we meet in the Steven Universe games. And these high-ranking gems prove to be difficult, even for our crystal gem fusions to take on. Demantoid uses mechanical upgrades to help her become more powerful in battle. She utilizes limb enhancers that can helicopter her around, blast her opponents, and use a tractor beam to lock them in or move them around wherever she pleases. Number 12, Pyrope. Another Garnet, Pyrope uses holograms to trick her enemies into thinking there's multiples of her, and fights with the use of a fan. If pretension was a power, she'd be way higher. Number 11, Spinel. This rubber hose of a gem has gone through the ringer, and she definitely is one of the more think-outside-the-box villains Steven and the Crystal Gems face. She can fly, she can move really fast, and she knows her way around a scythe. An unhinged enemy out for vengeance, at any cost, is incredibly deadly. Number 10, Hezonite. I'd argue that Hezonite is the strongest Garnet from the games we meet. She's lauded as the ultimate warrior thanks to her super speed, strength, agility, and way with a blade. Her confidence can even supercharge her attacks. Giving yourself a pep talk that boosts your strength? That's pretty powerful stuff. Number 9. Blue Diamond. Diamonds are among the physically strongest gems in the galaxy. Plain and simple. They're the most resilient to attacks. I'd place Blue as the least powerful of the diamonds. While her powers of emotional manipulation can stop someone in their tracks due to extreme sadness or make them walk away from a fight filled with bliss, they aren't as powerful as the skills the other diamonds possess. And yes, I know Yellow failed to poof Blue, but I think that's more so because Yellow was holding back. Number 8. Yellow Diamond. Yellow's militaristic mindset and powers place her above Blue for me. She can poof a gem with the flick of a finger. This girl's packing some power. She can go full Sith Lord and shoot lightning at her opponents, causing gems to destabilize. Perhaps even more unnerving than her powers are her gem experiments, poofing and forcefully fusing gems. Number 7. Rose Quartz, aka Pink Diamond. This gem is a force, no matter what identity she's taking on. Whether she's using her tears to heal or throwing a tantrum that causes unspeakable damage, this gem's emotions fuel so much of her power. Left unchecked, it caused a lot of destruction. As Rose, she tried to fix that damage. Recognizing your mistakes, using your power responsibly, growing and changing. All of those things are superpowers too. I'm ranking her as more powerful than Yellow and Blue because I think they feared the raw power she was capable of. Number 6. Alexandrite. This massive fusion is made up of garnet, amethyst, and pearl. As Garnet says in Guide to the Crystal Gems, Alexandrite is an incredible force on the battlefield. When pearl, amethyst, and I fuse together with a singular goal, we are unstoppable. Alexandrite's weapon? All of them, baby! Alexandrite is well versed in how to use all of these weapons and is proficient in using every single one of them. She also has unique joints that allow her body to swivel and spin, and she can breathe fire from one of her mouths. Number 5. Obsidian. Garnet, amethyst, and pearl, and Steven! The theme song promised us this fusion, and it is so good! Obsidian has a magnificent broadsword that she wields, enhanced climbing capabilities, and the ability to breathe fire. This massive fusion made quite the impact with the tiny bit of screen time it was given. Combining all these gems together means Obsidian is ridiculously strong, ridiculously sturdy, and not to be trifled with. Number 4. The Cluster. In terms of brute force, we have to put the Cluster high on our list. Made up of thousands upon thousands of gem shards, the Cluster even forms what looks like sheer muscle. Thanks to a little love from Steven, it isn't just some mindless killing fusion. It has wants, it has agency, and it has love for Steven. The Cluster is even able to hold on to Steve Zilla when he is in full rage mode. Number 3. Lapis Lazuli. Okay, here's where I think a lot of you are going to have a very different opinion from me. But hey, it'd be boring if all of our lists were the same, right? I think Lapis is diamond level strong. Hear me out. She is one of the only gems that can physically keep up with Steven in his Steve Zilla form. Her water-wielding powers are bananas strong. She made an ocean bridge to the moon, people! This gem's raw power made her a real concern for the crystal gems before she turned ally. I think she's absolutely, hands down, one of the strongest forces in the galaxy. Number 2. White Diamond. White Diamond's mind control powers, when used for her own gain pre-Era 3, are absolutely terrifying, and position her to be one of the most fearsome forces in the galaxy. The ability to manipulate anyone's actions against their will is a power that must be wielded with great responsibility, and White's attempt at retribution to allow others to control her and be a vessel for their emotions is a positive step towards using that power for good. Still, at her height, boy was she terrifying. And finally, number 1, you all saw it coming, Steven Universe. You knew our boy Steven was gonna be number 1, right? After Steven Universe Future and seeing his Steve Zilla form, there's no denying that Steven is one of, if not the most physically powerful gems in the galaxy. He obliterates Jasper in his pink state. As Steve Zilla, he's no physical match for the diamonds, for Alexandrite, for Lapis, for the Cluster. Plus, Steven's ability to heal and help others is incredibly useful and powerful. But perhaps the greatest strength we see by the end of Steven Universe Future is that Steven could do more than change the hearts and minds of others. He could also seek to help himself and give himself the self-care and love he needed. Steven's raw power terrifies him, but with the right training and right mindset, that power will absolutely be able to be utilized in a more productive way that won't cause him or others harm. Unless you're an intergalactic threat, of course. Then you better watch out and get the heck out of Beach City. Of course, this is just my power ranking list. The question is, where is everyone else on yours? Do you agree? Do you disagree? Hit me up with your hot takes in the comments below. As always, you guys, let us know in the comments what videos you want to see next. You're in charge after all. Also, we've all been in quarantine since March. March, are you okay? Are you doing all right? Please let us know in the comments how you're coping, how we can help. We hope you're staying safe. Please wash those hands. Please wear your mask. And hey, if you liked this video, give it a thumbs up, and you can click to the left for more awesome Steven Universe content. Thank you once again to all of our donors on Patreon, and thank you for watching. I'll see you, Space Cowboy.